Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Dr. Afro with you again. Another solution that he has for you is the deluge of, in addition to paper, the deluge of bulk software, learning, utility software, etc. Whereas many of us, we want to learn, we want to go to school, we want to improve our skill sets, etc. However, to do this, we need to buy software. Some for entertainment, a lot for learning, etc. So Dr. Afro is just giving you an example, though this is entertainment software. But for example, if you look at all this and if you were to put it on a scale, it has weight, it has bulk. And these days, if, for example, Dr. Afro being semi-homeless, if he were kicked out or asked to take his butt and get his duff and take his butt on the streets, to get out on the streets, he would have a problem with all of this stuff. He would have a very, very, very severe problem as to what to do with all of this stuff, particularly if he had no money for storage, and particularly if he has no vehicle, as he cannot drive, and his license is being blocked. He couldn't even get a vehicle even if he wanted to. So, folks, solution, that is the problem. Solution is you would have to approach every one of these software publishers. They have the intermediate distributors, and they have the publishers, and they have the developers. The developers or the publishers, the licensed publishers, to get permission to take this disk that you have and turn it into an actionable, or how can I say, an executable file or image file or ghost, as they call it in the lingo of techies, etc. You would have to get permission from every one of these companies to be able to do this. Every one of these companies. Every one of these companies, if they're not selling a download version. But since you've already bought the physical version, how do you since you've already bought the physical version, how do you take this? Since you bought the physical version, you don't want to have to buy the download version again. How do you, without breaking legal copyright laws, etc., take these software, these programs, these movies, and turn them into image files? How do you do that? How do you do that without breaking the law? How do you do that? How do you do that, folks? How do you do that? How do you turn this into image files? How do you do that? Companies that are disparate, that are spread all over the world. All over the world. And Dr. Afro also would like you to do that because he does not want you to be raped. The way he was raped intellectually in Singapore by anti-terror officials at the behest of who knows whom, question mark, patriots probably from our good old USA, to have a foot put up his ass, excuse my language, and basically kicked out of Singapore as he's tried to stay there for a year legally, everything above board. There has been no mention of anything since he was kicked out, as long as he's destitute and poor. But once mentioned, who knows what they'll come up with. Girlfriend, fiance, everything ruined. Risque nude pictures confiscated of his fiance, everything, and threatened to be used against him, as well as pictures of himself, which are uncompromising. So, long story short, these are the kind of tactics that are being used against innocent people, people who are innocuous, who have no aims of revolution or aims of revolting or being subversive against governments, yet particularly the indefensible, the impoverished segments they are targeting, particularly those who are converts, or Islamic or religious converts such as Dr. Afro, long time. So how do you turn this, folks, software legally with every one of these publishing companies and developers into image files that you can carry on your micro SD card or even your USB stick? All of these, you can carry hundreds of these, programs into executional, meaning you can actually play them from the micro SD card or USB stick without having to carry all of this. Imagine you have to go to another country or another state or visit your mom or visit your relatives, and you got to carry all of this. Or you got to move, or you've been kicked out in the streets. Imagine, folks. So how do you do that? Well, there are ways to do that, but the advice, this is the problem. The solution is turn them into image files, executional files, or images or data that you can play right from your SD card. But you have to get legal permissions to do that. And Dr. Afro may not know better. There may be a better way. But folks, this is not the way to live. I tell you, even these books, these manuals that come with these software learning and games, you can also turn them into digital books that you can read on your phone or you can read on a tablet. As simple as that, right along inside the game. So this is not a sustainable way to live, folks. As the wealthy want us to consume less, they want us to take up less space, they want us to eat, they want us to poop or defecate less, so they can have the spoil. So, folks, I'm telling you, that's the way to get them, is to minimize our lifestyle, to have a minimal footprint. And along with reducing this paper, we need legislation to make it mandatory that every paper or document or pamphlet printed has a digital version or aspect to it. That way, with a QR code or some other code that you can get, so that you have the option at least of getting the digital version, as opposed to having to get the print version out of these little boxes on the corners, etc. The people that make them can continue to keep their jobs. We will continue to pay for the digital versions for a period of time until they can transition. But folks, this is not the way to live. Dr. Afro, over and out with you.